Hey, this is Heidi Neff, and I'm going to show you how to make an animatic or an animated storyboard using only the free version of FlipaClip. Now, this is FlipaClip right here. I'm just going to open it. This is what the icon looks like. FlipaClip is a very basic frame-by-frame animation tool, and you can use it on your phone. You can use it on, I'm using it on an iPad right now. You can use it on Android or iOS. So the first thing you're going to do is press the plus button, name your animation. It can be named anything. And then you're going to pick your resolution. You can pick a background if you want the same image throughout your whole animation. You might not. Transparent's good because you can use it for other things that way. You'll see that I used some wrinkled paper in my other one, but right now I'm going to do this. You can pick your canvas size, which has it conveniently to different platforms. 1080 is HD or 2K. Those will give you a warning saying it might affect the quality. And this is just an example, so I'm going to keep it at 720, but you can definitely go up to 1080p. I've had no problems with it. It probably depends on your device and the memory on it. For our purposes, I'm going to make the frames 6 frames per second, which is kind of typical of a more jerky stop motion looking animation, and create the project. So I just want to show you the basic tools so that you can get started. You have a timeline down at the bottom, timeline down here, and you have frames. So you can draw anything you want here. I called it cat, so now I'm drawing a cat. And then you'll move to the next frame, and you'll still see where the cat face was in the first one. So then you can take it and redraw it slightly in relationship to the other one, because animation is at its very basic level just like creating a flip book. I think I made the face a little bit bigger there. And so if you've ever created a flip book, even just on the corners of a notebook at school or something like that, you know, you just do a whole bunch of images in a row, move them slightly, and then they become your animation once you flip through it, or in this case, push play, and the cat's getting bigger. All right, once you're familiar with the tools in FlipaClip, you're going to make your animatic. I'm suggesting that you choose a song that you want to make a music video to if you don't already have another animatic that you want to make. I wouldn't suggest doing anything longer than 3 minutes. I'd say 2 to 3 minutes is good. You'll be making about 30 frames for which is 30 different drawings to start with for a 2 to 3 minute animatic. So the first thing that I did, I have a few versions of my animatic. I did an animatic to the song Punk Rock Girl by the Dead Milkmen. I do not have rights to this song, and I'm not using this for anything but practice and educational purposes, so I think we're within our rights here. But and I suggest you do the same thing if you're just learning how to do this. I used the crinkled paper background because I liked it and thought it went well with the song. But the first thing that I did for me was to make some notes when listening to the song. So there's an instrumental part that comes in, and I had a couple ideas for those, so I just wrote them down. And then I went ahead and did all the lyrics to the song. Now, you might have a lyric-heavy song with a story in it, or you might have a song that you want to illustrate more abstractly in terms of the sounds that the song makes. It might be instrumental entirely, and you might just have shapes pulsing and rhythm across the screen in your final project. So you might not need the lyrics, but I suggest you make some notes about what types of images you might want, and then listen to the song while you're doing your drawings. Next, I'll show you the next layer. The next thing you do is the roughs. And animatics are just roughs. That's what they are. You don't want anything detailed? Do you want an idea of the composition and the scene and the characters, but you don't want to invest too much time in this because this is an animatic is planning out what you're going to do in a future animation or film, and you don't want to spend a long time on each frame to realize that's not what you want later. So I ended up making 41 drawings for a 2.5-minute song, which is going to work. And I made these characters really rough. The two main characters are the singer and the punk rock girl. And so I made the singer green, I made the punk rock girl blue. I'm keeping them both kind of blobby. The reason I'm using color is that way when there's other black and white characters, like in here, they won't blend in and it's clear where my character is. And so I'm making them to the lyrics, and I'm going through here, and I've got it all set. I've got all the stories. It's all here. So that's just a matter of sitting down and doing the drawings. It did take me a couple hours to think of all the ideas, even though it's very, very rough. So next step, you're going to add music. Once you have that, you're going to add the music and then time it to the music. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You need to have a file that you have the rights to, meaning something similar to an MP3, just a regular sound file, nothing with protections on it. So I had to purchase this from iTunes. I couldn't just download the one from my Apple Music. You're going to have to own the song. Doesn't mean you own the rights to the song. Let me emphasize that. So in the iPhone version, there's just a plus sign here for the music, and you click the plus sign and then you'll see the menu of that I have here on the right. This is the music library, an audio library of things that come with FlipaClip. You don't need that right now. This is one where you could do a voiceover if there's something that you need to read into the microphone. The microphone is that, and the notes is the one that we want. It says the feature is locked, but you can watch an ad to get it, so you can still use it in the free version. So I'm gonna stop the recording for a second and watch the ad. Okay, now that I've watched the video, it's letting me get a file from my iPad. So it might work through your iTunes library if you have your purchased music there. That wasn't working for me, or your Google Music. I went to File, I saved it in my iCloud drive, but I'm sure there's many ways to do this. Save it on your phone or your tablet, however you want. I'm gonna grab this song right here, 07 Punk Rock Girl. That's the version I want. And then I have to click the check mark in the upper right hand corner. And then it says drag this clip to any track, and I feel like it didn't stay or save when I didn't actually physically grab it. So I moved it to that track. It doesn't really matter which music track you put it on. You have several audio tracks to work with, which is nice. So now you can play it. But as you see, my 41 images went by incredibly quickly. But if you go all the way to the end, I have 1901 frames, which I thought I set this one at 6 frames per second, but it should be less, should be fewer frames than that. So I'm gonna get out of the music and go up to my project settings and change it to 6 frames per second, which I thought I had, but that might have been in the other ones earlier. So here we go, 6 frames per second, save changes, and I'm down to 951 frames. I'm gonna scrub through it and find what frame is my first lyric. One Saturday I took a walk to Zipperhead. That's the first lyric, so I need to find where that is by playing through and finding it. One Saturday I took, right? So I know it's around here. You can kind of hear it. Is it frame 103? One Saturday. Okay, so it's a little bit after 103. Then I can go back to 108. One Saturday I took. Ooh, I think it's 108. One Saturday I took a walk to Zipper. I tried 106. It worked pretty well. Sorry. Tried 106, it worked pretty well too. Let me try from 105.
One Saturday I took a walk.
I think I'm going to do 106. So I'm remembering that frame 106 is where that lyric starts. So this is where I'm going to show you another handy thing in FlipaClip. I go up to this menu. I go up to Frames Viewer. And I can see all my frames. I know that this frame, number 3, go back to Frame Viewer, this one, number 3, needs to be number 106. So that means that if I want to divide it evenly, I want the first frame and the second frame to each be half of 106, so 53 frames each. And then I'm like, that might be a little boring. Maybe I can do 22 frames, 21 frames, 22 frames, 21 frames of each. That's an idea. But however you decide to do it, this is how it goes. This is going to be a lot faster than it sounds. If I just use the timeline, it would take forever. I'm not going to use the timeline. I'm going to use Frames Viewer. I'm going to press and hold on the frame that I want to duplicate. And then I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to paste it forward a bunch of times. I think I just did 23. No, I did more. I did 32. Okay. Yeah, that's the basic idea. Now I want to do 22, 21, 22 or 23 of each. I don't know. We're just trying to get up to, we're not going to be too exact here because this first part's all instrumental. It doesn't matter exactly how many of them I have. I'm just trying to get this one timed out so that it starts at 106. And right now we're still way back. So I'll press and hold on this one. So I'm in the selection menu again. Do about 20. We needed 53 of each. So if we have 25, 28, that'll get to 53, right? I'm going to stop and see, okay, I'm up to, let me just get up to 53. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 8, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. It goes very quickly. Okay, now I'm going to do a little trick where I'm going to double all of these. So I'm going to select everything. It's not really a trick. I'm going to select everything and just copy it. I was going to show you something where I can move where it is, but we'll do that later. If we do it at all. Okay, so do have to press each one of them individually. And then I'm going to copy the whole thing with using the copy button down here, and I'm going to paste the whole thing. I want to go back to our main menu and play that zipper headline and see how many frames I need for that zipper line. Just to go through this one more time so you see what I'm doing, and then I'll move on to a later phase. So I'm going to start playing from here because we know it's a good place to start.
One Saturday I took a walk with zipper head.
So that was...
One Saturday I took a walk with zipper head.
Is that where it ends? 125? Let's see. Let's see what it sounds like starting from 126. Nope, it still had that last sound in it, so it wasn't ready for the next frame yet. So I want to go all the way through 126 with my first zipper head slide. So I'm going to go back to Frames Viewer. I'm going to say we're starting on 107. We need it to go all the way through 126. Going to select this one. Copy and paste. Until I end on 126. I'm at 121, 122, nope, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126. And the next frame starts on 127, so that's perfect. As a review, the first step was play with the animation tools and get familiar with FlipaClip. The second step, Step 2, draw your storyboard. Step 3, add sound that you want to time your storyboard to. Step 4, time your storyboard to that sound. And now we're on step 5, add some animations. So if you look at this, I have my sound bar down here. I'm leaving it on mute for the moment. But the beginning that I timed is just static, and it lasts for a long time or a lot of frames as you go through here, and it's kind of boring. So I decided I wanted to spice that up a little bit with some simple animation. Okay, so I want this to be kind of inverted. This may or may not be exactly what I did in my other one that I'll show you, but I'm selecting a figure here and just inverting that figure and then moving it in this way. It's not going to be perfect, but I want a really choppy look for this little animation, so I moved that figure, and then I'm going to move this figure, and then probably some of the other figures as well. Although I kind of like these kind of slamming into each other now, but maybe just have them reverse so there's a little more movement. So I'm just going to reverse that one too. And so now I'm going to have there and distort it. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I actually did. This is not what I actually did, but you can see that if I go between these two, it feels a little bit more like a mosh pit now. And so what I did was I went through and deleted out half of the original frames and added in half of frames similar to these to make a little dance party going on, a little mosh pit. So another thing that I did was this, moved the drummer's arms into 3 different positions so that he was playing the drums and not just standing there. So this is cool. What I can do is select his arm, and then I can move, if I select this little circle here, it's the anchor point, I can move it to his joint, to his elbow, and then when I use this tool to rotate, it rotates at the elbow. So that's how I moved his arms to make them work. So I'm going to go to my most recent version of this now, which I think is this one. I'm hopeful. Click on it. But you really are just doing it to kind of add visual interest to your story. You're not trying to do a full-on smooth animation, but it can help show what the motion is going to be like in the eventual story, which is really nice. So after you've added all the animation that you want to add to your animatic, there is just one thing that you have to do, and that is export your video so that you can share it with people. You can go to the 3 dots up here and click Make Movie. You only have one choice when you have the free version, which is to format it as an MP4, but that's a pretty reasonable thing to come out. So a reasonable format that is plays across lots of platforms. So you click Make Movie, and here you go. You'll then be able to save it to your photos or send it to YouTube, TikTok, etc. So I'm just going to save to photos, and I will post a link to the video in this video's description if you want to watch what came out of this. I hope you have fun with your first animatic project on FlipaClip, and also see the description for other resources that I think are even better for animation if you feel like investing a little bit of money into it.